Hey Facebook, hey Instagram. Welcome to Coffee with Colleen. Hello, hello.
You got theme music?
I was thinking of a song. It's like Coffee with Colleen featuring Stephen K. Silva. Maybe I need to come up with something.
We'll come up with something.
Yeah, we'll think of something.
That may not stick.
I know. I always sing kind of that, so it's close.
Mm-hmm.
We are here live. Thank you for joining us eventually. No one's joined us yet.
Is that a cricket I hear?
That's not very good. Let's see, someone's on Facebook. Oh, they're gone. Oh, hey, what y'all see? We have someone on Instagram right now. Oh, they're still here. We just didn't see. Oh, it's Terry. Hi, Terry. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's so funny. Okay, so coffee mugs.
Yes.
You want to go first?
I'm sure.
He's going to go first.
I'm just going to talk about my mug, yeah?
Yeah, just share your mug.
So, this is my mug, and this is an aluminum mug, and it has a double wall so that you can put coffee in it. It gets really hot, but it doesn't burn your lips, so it's super fun. But this is a special mug, and the reason I chose it is because this was my mother's, and when I was a boy, we used to go camping, and she got each of us one of these mugs, and we love these things, but they are metal, so they don't work in the microwave.
Oh, yeah.
And if you look right here on the handle, the plastic handle is melted because she forgot. She put it in the microwave, turned it on, and sparks were flying, and she was all freaked out. And so she, of course, stopped it and everything. But I always teased her for years about forgetting and baking this thing in the microwave. So now I have it. My mom is still alive, but I take care of her now. She's somewhere else in a hospital. And so to honor my mom, I chose today's mug.
I love it.
Yeah.
I have to tell you a little secret. Well, so I chose that mug 2 weeks ago for Coffee
Really?
with Colleen, but I didn't know the story, and I said, this mug is great because it's durable and it won't break. And then my friend that was on there, she was like, and it's probably a camping mug. And I was like, oh my gosh, it totally is.
It totally is.
So you get a better story with, that was way better. I just used it because I was like, I don't want to use this one today. So
totally.
But it's interesting because I'm going to show another mug that I've had on here a couple times. Hey Josh Freeze is on here. You know him.
Hey Josh, great.
But because Corey has used this and I've used this before because it's Disney and we love Disney.
Yeah.
So, I wanted you to share the story, which I already told you, because before I knew the story this is like a souvenir that you got when you first went to Disneyland, maybe just with the boys first time, maybe. So what's the true details, the true story?
Okay. So we saved up our money and we went to Disneyland, and you might not know, but it's kind of expensive, right? So we had spent all our money, but I had made a promise to myself that I would shop the entire campus, I mean every store, until I found the right thing. And I didn't know what the thing was, but I wanted something to take home that I would always remember this was that trip. And so I shopped, the Magic Store, and I don't remember all the other things on Main Street and all these other little nooks and crannies. I was exhausted. And I finally, on the way we are leaving out of the place, and I go, I've got to go, I haven't done my thing yet. And so I shopped, and I walked up and I found this mug, and I just think it's the coolest ever. So it was like, click, this is it. So I bought the mug.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And it says happiest homecoming on earth. So was it like an 50th anniversary, I guess?
Yeah, it's some kind of a celebration.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love this mug, and it's 3D. See how it So that's awesome. That's so cool. I love that story. I think I'm very similar in that way. Like if I'm gonna buy something and it's gonna be like important, it has to be like, you have to feel that importance, and you're like, this is my cup.
Otherwise you're just accumulating junk around your house. But I think everything in your house should have some symbolic meaning or something behind it. So that you feel like, nobody needs to know, but this means this, and that means that, and so you're surrounding yourself with value. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, I do that. I do that with clothes too, actually.
Yeah.
I have no idea why that happened. I didn't even touch the table and it made a noise. It's speaking to us. The table.
Spirit.
The Holy Spirit's like, this is valuable.
Yes.
This metal tiny table, which I wish you all could see, that only costs like $15.
It's an awesome table.
A little wobbly now. You can hear it. Anyways, a little snippet of the show. Okay, whatever. So, I'm going to take a sip.
Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, I'm so
That's
glad
fun.
you're on.
I know,
It's
I'm so
over.
jealous.
Goodbye, everyone. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah. Yeah, you know, my wife was on,
Yes, she was on last
and
time.
she was bragging about it,
Uh-huh.
that she was on, and she had so many people watching, so now I'm like, oh my gosh. So I hope she's not watching this, because
Oh,
then
yeah.
if she watches, she'll know how many saw, so I'm just gonna have to tell her. Oh, we
Yeah.
had like 800.
800.
Yeah.
800 more than she had.
Yeah, just that many more.
Yeah.
Not that we're in competition.
You know, you all equal 400 people.
Each, yes.
Each. That's awesome. No, it's fun. It's like, oh, we have 5 viewers actually on Facebook.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome. It truly is. Usually I have about, for sure, 1 the whole time, and then it's usually my mom.
I'm gonna have to start watching.
Please start watching. Actually, I usually have 2 really committed people, and they're my mom and John.
Moms are great.
Mom and my stepdad. Come on.
Aren't they though?
Yeah, they are
Moms
great.
are great.
You're right. But
That's my mug right here. In honor of moms.
yes.
Because they're so amazing.
Aw, they are amazing. Moms are amazing. We love you, Mom.
Yeah, love you.
Aw. So, okay, let's just dive in. So I have a thought and then a question. My first thought is we should share how we first met. Obviously, he's my father-in-law.
Yeah.
But he teaches Prosperous Home, Prosperous Soul, different other courses. Do you still teach at this? Well, obviously not now because of
No,
are
actually,
you gonna
right
do
now.
Online?
Mm-hmm.
Yay! So
Yeah.
So
Right back.
he teaches for the BSSN Bethel Supernatural School of Ministry in Redding, California, and he actually was teaching a Prosperous Home course when I was in 2nd year.
Yeah.
And before I even met his son, like, I had taken your class because I heard so many good things about your class.
Oh yay.
Yeah, and so and then I thought you were like the sweetest fan ever. I'm like, he's probably such a good dad.
I am.
You are.
No.
Yeah, you are. I was not. I was so surprised. That
Thank you for that slow pitch.
You're
I appreciate it. Knock that out.
That's awesome. He's a great dad. Autumn. She knows that he's a great dad. It's my sister-in-law. Aw. Hi, Alicia. We have some people saying that. That's awesome. But so that's how we met. I'm trying to think of I don't know if you remember.
You don't remember any of the messages or any stuff. You just remember me.
I just remember. You know,
old guy up front talking to
No,
me.
I actually, because you taught about your 80-10-10.
Yes, ma'am.
And
I did.
And that actually helped me with finances because, and I was going to bring that up later, but since I brought it up, hey Autumn, she's saying hi on here. Oh, and she's saying she's agreeing with me that you're a great dad. And then we have, I think that's Josh, actually. I think I know him from where I grew up. But what was it saying? Oh yeah, LGS.
Yes.
So living, giving, and saving.
Yeah.
So living, saving, giving. And it's where you take 80% of your income, you use it for things that you need or whatever, and then 10% you save, and then 10% you give. But then you can build it.
Yeah, you can. So I like to think about it as everything that comes into your hands, you divide it into 3 places. And the first thing you want to do is give. And a lot of people, that can be a little bit or a lot, it just depends on where a person's at. But the thing that I think is important is remember whatever you give to try to match that amount with what you save. And that's the piece a lot of people miss. So we give and we live on the rest. But think of it like seed and bread. You know, there's the Bible story that talks, you know. And we understand that if you don't put seed in the ground, you don't have bread. And I think the giving is seed, and so is the saving. So if you don't, if you just give and live on the rest, you're missing part of your seed. And I think that's why people struggle. As a fundamental, obviously oversimplified idea, but I think it's powerful. If we can remember there's 2 kinds of seed, we got to get them both in the ground, and then your harvest will, you know, you live on the rest. So you give 10, save 10, live on the rest, 80%. And then you can later go 15, 15, 70. You can just keep your way, you know, build your way. It's just a really simple way to build a plan.
And actually, when Corey and I got married, we we did that, and actually it's helped us a lot. We'd have medical things come up,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'd have things stay, so we pour into it. Even our income in the beginning of our marriage was really low, so I mean, what we had saved for medical was like $50, $80, $100 at the biggest, but that helps so much.
It does.
Because then that cuts. I mean, if the doctor's appointment is $75 for both, that's $150, and we have like $75 in here. We've cut it 50% off already, so it's helped us a lot. So hey, Aaron, and then Terry says hi. Let's see what else. Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, so that's helped us, and encourage you all if you're kind of figuring out what do I do with having trouble with finances right now because of what's going on. It's a really great tool, even if you're getting unemployment right now, like preparing for not having unemployment or it dropping, which has already dropped for everyone right now. But also not only a technical, practical thing, but also I believe like as a spiritual blessing, because I think because not only it helped us with what we did practically, we also started to see more miracles in our finances.
Yeah, I think that when we steward like that, that isn't a demonstration of lack of faith. That's the expression of your faith. The Bible says, you say you have faith, show me your works and I'll show you my faith by my works. So it's like how we merge our management with our faith. We put those together and you have synergy. If you take them apart, you weaken the whole. So it's better to do them together. And I think when you are doing like what you're describing, Colleen, it gives God something to aim at with his blessing and his favor. And I think you do see miracles because that's what happens with faith. God loves it. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I love that. So, okay, since we're on this tangent, we got to get to our subject, but I should share the product.
Go for it.
Because we're just talking about it. So this is the book, your first book that you ever wrote. It's an amazing book. So if you are wanting to learn this, but also more, there's a lot more in there. It's amazing. It'll shift your mindset about money. Hey, David. It's my uncle.
Oh, nice.
And then Terry was my aunt, actually. Oh, they're sitting. Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Watching our podcast. Yay, that's so awesome. Thanks, David. That's so cool. Hello from your home. Oh, so this book, you should definitely get it. It'll open your eyes to wealth, even, I feel like. Because it just shares, like, I know a lot of, like, Christians think that, having a lot of money is, I don't know, it's, like, even sinful in a way.
It's a very complicated message.
So, and you share a lot of different things about finances and how that's not true. I don't think that's true. So, and then also the root of finances, like, poverty spirit, and then also like mammon. It's just a great overall book. Anything you want to say about it? Because you wrote it.
I think. I've got one thing to say that it was endorsed by Dave Ramsey.
Yes, that's awesome.
And that's a hard thing to get, so I was really pleased when that happened. And a lot of you know Dave Ramsey, and I respect him highly. But I was really honored when he said on the front of my book, he said, "Steve, finally got it right." Yeah,
that's awesome.
Finally got it right. So I'm like, oh yeah,
Yay,
this is awesome.
Yep. I want to read the whole thing. So I'm grateful that Stephen De Silva has finally put prosperity in the proper light by defining it by the condition of your soul, not your wallet. So you must check this out.
Thank you, Mr. Ramsey.
Yes, thank you, Dave Ramsey. And this on Kindle, you probably can watch or read the first few pages. So before you buy, you can check it out.
Yeah.
So this is a great one.
Thank you.
And then, do you want to say anything else about your other ones?
No.
Okay.
No. There's stuff in there, but we're good.
Click on that, and you'll see he's written some other courses and things that will help you. So, like even Prosperous Homes, you can get like the course online.
Teach it online now as an e-course.
Yeah. So we wanted to talk about gardening.
Yes.
Yes, fun. And so this is like totally prosperous too.
It is.
And your garden is prospering.
It is crazy. So what happened is I was thinking about a course. This is actually related to what we're talking about.
That's awesome.
And I was thinking about business. So I do teach some business classes. And I realized the smallest, oldest, simplest business idea is a garden. Because you have to prepare the seed, make a plant, put it in the ground, water it, and then out of it comes produce. That's your profit, right? So I thought, I'm going to start a tiny micro business, which in my head was a tomato plant, and I wanted to get tomatoes from it, right? So I prepared this little area, and I'll shorten the story to say that the ground was really poor. The soil was really crummy.
Was it just dry?
It was a tree trunk that I had somebody have to grind it. So we lost a tree, and they had to grind it. So there's all these wood chips, and it wasn't soil yet. It was just mulched wood, right? And the first year I tried my business, my garden, nothing happened, man. I couldn't get anything to grow, and the plants, nothing worked because there was no soil. I didn't realize that. I'm like, dang it. Well, the second year I worked the soil again, so it's like I had to rework my plan. And this is so much like a business. It's like, okay, what? You know, it's constantly adjusting and changing and flexing. And so I redid, and I changed some things, and I changed my watering, and planted it again. Oh my gosh, I have got tomatoes by baskets out there. It's so fun. And yeah, we've got, anyway, so.
No, it's good. Keep going. No, this is exactly what I want to hear.
It's so much fun.
I love to see your excitement. It's true. I've seen his garden. It's like, and you have a whole compost pile now.
Oh, my compost.
You should share that, because I didn't even know about that.
Men, there's something manly about a compost pile. You got to build one. Okay, there's something,
awesome.
You know, I don't know. To make dirt is just the coolest thing. So I built this little cage, this little wire cage. So it's just like a cylinder of wire that had holes in it. And then I just started throwing my, sticks in there, leaves in there, and all this junk down inside there. And it builds this, slowly it builds this really tall column of grass and junk. But as time goes by, that stuff rots and falls apart and degrades down, and at the bottom is the most amazing soil. And so that's what happened. That's why my garden is so good this year, is because I kicked over the mulch pile, and I found all this awesome dirt in the bottom. I'm like, that's amazing. So I took it, put it in my garden, and worked it all in, and my plants love it. It's so much fun. I got worms the size of my arm. I mean, it's so fun. They're crawling all over. Anyway, I know I'm totally geeking out on my garden.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
That's so cool. That's so awesome.
Mulch piles. Who'd have guessed?
I know. It's cool too, because when we first went to Reading to be with the family, Corey got to hang out with you and do a little bit of the gardening with you, and it's inspired him so much. Like, I mean, it was nice to go out into your yard and get some tomatoes or cucumber or zucchini. So gardening is such a cool thing now too. Actually, it's really popular because, especially of what's going on. And my brother-in-law has a garden too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that's
probably big.
It's pretty big. Yeah, and he has a lot of land, but honestly, it's probably just maybe double your size, because he doesn't use all the land. He just
you picked a little spot. That's the thing. You make it the size you want.
Yeah.
There's something spiritual about a garden. One of the things I hated as a kid was pulling weeds. And I find myself wanting to go out on a Saturday morning and pull weeds in the cool of the morning and just talk to God and think about life and solve problems. And I'm just picking away. I'll pick. It's crazy until I finally have to come in from the heat. But
yeah, it's hot already.
yeah, there's something cool about a garden.
That's cool. I love that. I love nature, so it just gets you out there and get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
I want to say hi to some people that may not still be on. Sometimes they pop in and out. But hi, Kevin Maltby, and Betsy. She was a history teacher.
Really?
When I was in school. Yeah, Betsy was.
I always like that name.
Actually, in her class, we all had to do projects. I don't remember the details now because it was so long ago, but I did a project of the speakeasy time, and so we could do whatever we want to showcase something, and I showcased music, and I did oh my gosh, Bessie Smith. So I made this poster. I dressed up in all that era, which my mom had a cool vintage dress I could do. Did I tell you this?
I think I
did, because I think I told you the song. The song was super low. It's down in Atlanta, GA, real low.
Come on, sing it. I
don't remember the rest.
Coffee with Colleen.
Something every day. Oh yeah, drinking corn.
Woo!
Hollering hooray. Piano was playing till the break of day. I don't remember the rest, but
Gosh, that's good.
it was really fun, and I was obviously nervous at the time. My
Yeah.
confidence was much lower because I don't care as much. When you grow older, you don't care as much.
I noticed
I was
this.
like,
Yes.
was shaking.
I can affirm that continues. It gets stronger and better
Good.
and puts you like,
Good.
whatever.
I still need help with that, but this helps me actually. Having you all join and watch us be silly. Hi, Elvin. Hello, and hello, Anne. Anne was on last week. That was fun. And Tina. Hi, Tina. I don't know who else. But yeah, this is great. This is great. So, anything else you want to share about your garden? There's gotta be more.
Oh, there's a lot of nerd stuff I can share. So, I had a watering problem, and that was because my garden sits kind of in the middle of my lawn, and all my sprinklers overlap, and we're just flooding, not
Oh.
flooding, but just overwatering
Yeah.
my tomatoes, and they wouldn't work, and didn't know what to do. So, I felt like one day I realized I have a bunch of pallets. So we have books, as you were just saying, and when those come to us, when we order our book
yeah.
inventories, you know,
Mhm.
you can imagine we get a bunch of boxes, and the boxes come on a pallet. So I have a bunch of these pallets laying around, and I realized, you know what a pallet is? It's those
The
wooden things that they stack. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I had a bunch of those. I cut them up in a certain way, and ended up with a bunch of cut up boards for free. And I felt so smart because I used some wire and I created pots. I put the pots where the plants were overwatered, and it raised them high enough that the sprinklers didn't drown the tomatoes. And from that point on, my tomatoes were just like fire-breathing monsters. They were just going like crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I felt really smart about that.
That's so cool. that
I
you-
did it with just, you know, what I had around me. And I think that's another cool story, is God uses what is available.
Mhm.
And sometimes we can't see it, but we have what we need. And sometimes that
Mhm.
feels like, that isn't true. That's never going to work for me. But no, man, that's this cool thing, this relationship we have with God, who loves us like a father.
Mhm.
He gives us what we need, and sometimes it's right in front of us,
Yeah.
and we're looking at someone else, like my neighbor's garden. Oh, my neighbor's garden. I hate that guy. He's got this huge garden. I'm kidding. He's a total
I know,
friend of
I
mine.
know.
But he did outgrow me, and I was so jealous. And I realized, wait, I'm judging my garden by my neighbor's deal, and that's not my problem.
Yeah.
So I just got to be me doing my garden, right?
Yep.
And we do this stuff all the time. But God gives us what we need. It's in our
Yeah.
hands.
I love that. That's something that that comes up literally. I think I say this at least 80% of the time when I do interviews. People bring up how they
Wow.
just use what they had around them.
Use
It's so
faithfulness.
true.
This is faithfulness.
Yeah,
this is what it looks like. You
faithfulness.
this is what I've got. This is what we're going to
Yeah,
use.
yep.
And God blesses it, you know?
Yeah, no, it's so true. Like, I always bring up the Teddy Roosevelt quote.
Mm.
I always get it wrong too, but it's on our fridge. Use what you have, or do with what you can. Using what you have, and I don't remember. It's totally bombing.
But that's
you
a
know?
powerful, that's
I
powerful.
forgot
quote.
that.
Yeah.
That one. Ta-da!
Yeah.
But that's exactly what Corey and I have been doing with, like, pursuing our dreams. Like,
Mhm.
even we're wanting to, make films, or
Mhm.
we want to do music, and we're writing, and it's just like,
Mhm.
we're just doing it. We're not going to wait
Don't wait.
for this. And even
Yeah.
a project that my friend Kelsey, Kelsey and I
Mhm.
are working on, I I need this, and this, and I just feel like God's like, start with what you have,
Yeah.
and then go from there. And I'm like, okay, we can
That's
do
so
this
good.
first, and then once we got this, then we can
Yeah.
find other ways to do
Yeah.
it. But it's so encouraging for you guys too. Like, if you have like a garden you want to grow, and you have a little
Mhm.
patch of land, get some pots, plant tomatoes. They work great in
Oh,
pots,
gosh,
which I'm
they're so
finding.
fun. Yeah.
And what other things can they grow, like in a pot? Or,
Oh, well, one of the problems I had is there was too much shade, and I didn't think it would grow anything, because tomatoes like heat and sun. But what I figured out is there's a bunch of really cool shade plants, and here it is again. You work with what you have. I have
Mhm.
kind of a shady yard. Cucumbers love shade.
Ooh, I love cucumbers.
Artichokes love shade.
Love artichokes.
Beets love shade.
It's okay.
Not a ton of shade, but anyway. So
Half shade or whatever.
yeah, like 3 to 4 hours a day. Anyway, I had some of the best beets. I got the coolest beet recipe.
Tell me.
Okay, you dig them out of the ground. Beets grow huge. They're awesome. They're easy to grow, and we got this. You just need loose soil, right?
So I got these beets as big as my fist. I mean, they were just awesome. But what I found out is you can cook beets a lot of ways, but the best way is to roast them. So you leave the little, you know how there's the beet, the root, and then there's the grass, the leaves come off the top. So you cut about an inch, you leave about an inch of those little greens on there, cut all that, get rid of it, and you just cut the little root bottom off, but you don't harm the actual skin of the beet. And then you rub olive oil on it and you roast it in the oven for probably 60 to 80 minutes if they're big beets.
Yeah.
And roasting keeps the sweetness better than anything. I mean, you can cook beets any way you want, but man, when you roast them, they're like candy. They were so good.
Oh,
I love.
Why didn't we get beets the other day?
I seriously thought.
Oh,
we went shopping.
Maybe we'll have to go shopping
Yeah,
again because we do need. We forgot a couple other things, so maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
It's kind of hot to be baking right now.
That's true. I know. Or because that would take too long on the grill.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work on the grill.
Yeah. Good
That
winter
sounds
though.
amazing.
Beets.
I do love beets.
Grow some beets. You take it from me. You're gonna love it.
You're gonna
love the beets. Okay.
Go into the boots.
Boots. Get the beets.
Get the boots
Yeah.
for your feet so that you can make some
You
beets.
You need some boots on your beets. Yes.
Your beets. Listen to that. Oh, that's funny. At least we didn't say the other word because I almost did. So, is there anything else? Oh, so you've done really well of like encouraging them with like doing with what you have, faithfulness, sewing, like learning about even business. Like if it's not working for you, see what's not working, or even learn from other businesses. They have discovered what doesn't work. Like there are so many resources out there to help you guys with your creativity, with your businesses, with your gardening, or your hobbies or anything like that. So is there anything else that comes to mind?
Yeah, I think one thing comes to mind is all of this stuff that we're describing. We're using a garden like a little business. You're talking about writing books or scripts or whatever thing you're doing. When you're doing this stuff, when you're pursuing something, what can happen is your heart can really get hurt. You can really struggle in your heart sometimes. Emotionally, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. And that is the piece that is not taught in the financial circles. How to manage this heart thing. All the emotions, all the fears, all of the ambition, just all the things that we may not like those words, but they are in everyone. Okay, we're all dealing with it at different levels, little nuances. Here's the thing. If you want to find some material that actually touches on that subject, that's the Prosperous Soul book that Colleen was just holding up a little while ago. Because I believe most financial teachers are teaching skills, and skills are important, like how to get out of debt or how to build investments or how to start an IRA or whatever your deal is. But skills will never overcome beliefs, and beliefs reside in the heart. So you've got to deal with the heart first, then you can use those skills, and they work like crazy. They work great. But deal with the heart and then go after the skills. And most financial messages come the other direction. They teach you the skills and they just say, wow, just work out the other stuff. Or they say you're bad if you this way, or if you feel that, you should never. You know what? That isn't how it works. We've got to deal with our heart, and then we can go after the skill stuff. So that's the money and the prosperous soul subject. That's what I major on.
And that's great, because that reminds me of one thing I do want to bring up after this. But to go off of that, that is exactly what happens. Even, for example, like if I had, or someone had like a shopping addiction. Like
great example.
Like there's a moment you're either feeling lonely or just angry, depressed, whatever. You're like, I need to feel powerful. That's essentially what shopping addictions are. Like, I want to feel powerful, and I've had this, in the past or whatnot, because it makes you come alive. It's like kind of like candy. It makes you feel it's an
rewarding
endorphin.
yourself.
You're rewarding
Finally.
yourself. So that is, for example, if you see yourself doing that, even during like this time where you feel like I need to just stick to the essentials, but your heart is like mourning that in a way where it's like not even fun for you, like there's probably something in the root, there.
Yeah.
So
there's
what do
something
you?
going on.
Yeah. So what would you do? What would you suggest, like, to meet with you, or like what's something like a
Oh,
snippet, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Or something like that, or something
so,
you can share.
I mean, you can meet with me, but what I would say is there's a lot of things easily accessed. The book that she showed
the
you,
book's good.
there's some free resources on my site. Go check out that stuff. There's a bunch of my teaching that's out on like YouTube and things like that. So you can nose around and find those things. But here's what it is. Your heart is like a garden. And I didn't on purpose think about this, but now I will say that I do teach this all the time. Our heart is like a garden, and ideas are like seeds. And those ideas fall into the soil of our heart and bear the fruit of the nature of whatever you've planted, right? But there's two kinds of seeds. There's good seeds and bad seeds. The good ones I call absolute truth. I have a big T for absolute truth, things that are really true all the time. Then there are things that we have learned and believed that are like little T's. They're like experiences I've had, but those little T's sometimes argue against the big T's. And what you do, you ask, what do I do about that? It's really simple. Stuff that's coming out of your life, like I call, like bitter fruit, things, thorns, things that are in your life that harm, cycles like Colleen was talking about, where you're impulse shopping and you're doing these kinds of things. All of those kinds of things are simply fruit on the vines of what has been planted. So don't clip the vines, because the fruit will keep coming back. You got to go back in and pull out the seed that has created that idea, that fruit, and plant something that bears good fruit. So pull out the little T and plant the big T. And where do we get the big T? I have two sources. One is the Bible, and number two is Hebrew history. Is amazing. Hebrew culture is one of the most amazing cultural ideas on the planet. When you learn about that ancient, the way they thought and taught, it's fascinating. So you start digging around in those sources, and of course those culminate with the words of Jesus. So Jesus, he's the bomb.
Yeah,
he's the whole game. But when you find big truth and recognize you're arguing against that because something inside doesn't agree, there's only one thing really to do. Get out the little root and plant something bigger and watch it bear good fruit.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to work every time.
How, this is my brain, if someone's like, I want to do that, how do they do that? Do they say like, I know that I repent for believing the lie, or is it I ask you, Jesus, to pull out the root? What's a way that they could do that and place the big truth?
So what we're presuming is you've figured out that there is a lie and there is a truth. That's really the main goal, is if you can see the difference. A lot of people don't. But once you see the difference, the little T and the big T, it's really simple. Ask God for help. Say, God, I have agreed or received this old idea, the little T, that is not producing good fruit in my life. Would you take it out? Please just give it away. I abandon it. I forsake it. Use whatever words you need, but just ask God for that help and just reject it. Recognize it's wrong and I want it out. But then never leave a space. You always ask in return, God, what would you give me instead? And listen. You see, God is real, and he's actually talking. And he can give you direction on what is big T, and God, plant that in my heart. I was just working with someone this morning. We did exactly that. We pulled out the little T, we put in the big T, and she said, I can feel the difference. That is amazing. She was blown away. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's how it works. Because if you've grown used to thorns, you ask God for help, and all of a sudden he does it, and the thorns are missing, and you got some, luscious apple trees growing in there, if you can go with me on that. It's like, oh my gosh, how does this work? This feels so different. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You can't deny the engineering of our humanity, and this is how God built us. So rather than resist it and fight it, just work with it. This is how God designed us. So there it is. God, pull out the lie and put in the truth,
And for anyone that's doing that right now, I just pray for you. I just bless you. In Jesus' name, God, seal up and do just a powerful thing in this person's life. They're asking, and you're their Father, and you're good. Amen.
Amen. Oh, I love that. And I was thinking when you're saying, you know, just go with it, just see what God says through that. Because I was actually going to bring up, you know, it will feel like when you first like, oh, this is something I believed for a long time. It will feel like it's truth. That's why it's a little t.
Right.
So that's when
That's
you have to recognize that is. That's why the Bible and Hebrew, what you're talking about, it helps you see. It's like a revelation you get. You have to trust God that, you know what, this is producing like some negative things, and I'm feeling like it's true, but I'm crying because I don't want it to be true.
Right.
Those are good signs that that is a little t, and that's just because you're used to it.
Yeah.
So
I think it's you hit that's such an important part, Colleen, because families build culture and dynamics and patterns, and sometimes they build around little t's. So you might find yourself or recognize when I tell you this, your family might have a habit or a pattern or a cycle or a way of speaking that you realize, wait a minute, I don't think that's big T. I think that's very true in my family, little t, but you have just recognized a major breakthrough.
yeah.
Because families, nations, you know, I love America. I'm an American. I love America. But I figured out that we don't all have the right answers all the time.
Yeah.
And so sometimes things that I have believed to be true, when I look at real truth and go, oh my word, where did I learn it? Well, God, here's the two things.
Yeah.
Take it out, the bad ideas and the thorn seeds, and put in the truth. And Lord, help that produce in my life. And it does. You see, when you do that, you're building layer on layer. There's a promise in the book of Genesis, the very first book in the Bible. It says that a seed will produce after its own kind, which is amazing because it works in our heart too.
Yeah.
And if we will plant big truth, it will bear its good fruit. This is how it works.
That's
So
awesome.
powerful. I love it.
Just like a tomato seed will grow a tomato.
Every time.
Every time. It will never be, it could be a green tomato or, you know,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah, it might be different looking, but it's a tomato every time.
It's a tomato.
And same with truth. It every single time will bear good fruit.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, I'm so glad that you brought, like, we talked about that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. We didn't know we were going to bring that up. I want to pull up some of the comments just because they were really powerful. I didn't know if you got to read them, but Lisa, hi Lisa, if you're still on.
Hey, Lisa.
Your heart is like a garden, ideas are like seeds, absolute truth. So she's responding to what you're saying. And then Jennifer, this is someone from work that I know. She's wonderful. She's a friend of mine.
Oh.
I love Colleen. I love the garden. Yes, thank you both. I also visualize myself as a seed. So funny because no matter what what tried to bury me, I will grow. My soil is the Lord. That's
Oh
cool.
my
I like
goodness,
that.
that's amazing.
And then Corey, your son,
Yay.
my husband, responded to Autumn. That's cute.
Yay.
And then Lisa, this is how God designed us. God pulled out the lie and put the truth. Oh, love you guys. Great words. Thanks, Lisa. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I love that. So, just kind of, I thought of the purpose train. After you talked about that, I would love for you. So last time, Donna, she was mentioning your calling. She's like, if you don't know what your calling is, that you should check out in your purpose train. And then I had someone on here, Charlisa, which she may pop in, or if not, I'm sure she'll watch this later. I'll let her know. But she wanted to know, what is the purpose train?
Okay. Yeah. So when people come to me, they usually have something financial that they're trying to solve, and so we solve that. If you were in my office, we would fix that particular need, whether it was to get out of debt or, you know, build up an emergency fund or whatever the specific is. But I tell them in that first meeting that they're dealing with the smallest, lowest level of financial issues, and that is called the tactical level. In other words, tactics are like decisions, little teeny decisions that help you fix your habitual shopping. If you have like that thing that you were talking about, Colleen, or addictive shopping, or
spending lots of money on food and stuff,
overeating,
might be
all the weird ways that
Yeah.
we comfort ourselves. But those are all tactical. So I'll use my fingers because I don't have my whiteboard.
Yeah.
But there's 5 levels, in my opinion, and I teach that to really change your life, what you're going to do is engineer a pull system. So imagine these fingers are like a chain link, and they're all connected. Now I can push a chain or I can pull a chain, but the strength of the chain is in the pull, right? When you push a chain, it just jumbles. Yeah.
Even like a train, that
So
would work.
that's the train idea, is it's a pull system. So the 5 levels are identity, purpose, vision, strategy, and tactics. Now I said that this is the lowest, tactics, but most people come to me with this issue. And the reason is because tactics are urgent and urgencies are loud. And because they're loud in our lives, in our mind, in our heart, they draw our attention. So most people operate at a tactical level. Does that make sense? Because it's noisy. These are all the problems that need to be solved. But in the opposite end, you have importance. This is urgency, this is importance. And important things are quiet and patient. Urgent things are loud and, frantic.
Panic.
So, yeah. So if you really solve your problems, you will find you will do so with a pull system. You're going to answer who you are, why you are, what you see, how you're going to get there, and then the yes and no's of specific decisions. This is the purpose train. Identity, purpose, vision, strategies, and tactics. So that's the purpose train in a nutshell. And
I love it.
you get a lot of folks, many folks, that come and say, what about this? And I'll show them where they're thinking. And if a person lives above the tactical level, they still are pushing part of the train until they know who they are, why they are, what they see, vision, then how to get there. Most financial teachers teach from the bottom up.
Yeah.
I tend to teach from the top down.
Which the identity is included with your soul.
Absolutely.
So that's like,
absolutely.
that's exactly why you go to the root of things instead of, because with anything, like even we're talking about, the big truth, little truth, if you trim the outside, the surface of the thing, you'll never change.
You won't get
the
down.
system.
Yeah,
The system will stay the same.
It will.
It might last longer. Like,
yeah.
You
can hide it.
You can hide it
You can
longer.
yeah.
But I love that too. So, for example, so that people understand more of how that helps you financially, that would be like if I know that I'm going towards my identity is like I bring positivity. Let's just say I need to do this again actually. And then under that positivity, the way I do that is I write stories. I do coffee with Colleen. I do life directing, like dream coaching. So then under that will help me then, as I keep going down, I'll move down to, then you said vision,
strategies
and then tactics. So the reason why these help me with all the way down here in tactics is because then when I use my money, or if my time is also like money, right? Because you do time too. Then I know
wealth is actually time.
Yeah, so I know what to say no to. Like if someone's asked me to do, I don't know, something that wouldn't relate to my identity.
Yeah, I call those orphan tactics. When someone says, Colleen, I need you to quit your job and move to, somewhere, let's say somewhere beautiful. Colleen, I need you to move to Hawaii and become a jewelry designer.
Perfect.
There's nothing wrong with Hawaii.
No,
nothing
we
wrong with
love
jewelry
Hawaii.
design. But the question from the bottom up can get confusing because you might say, oh, there's money in that, opportunity, the door is open, maybe I should do it. But the answer is hidden in a top-down view. Who am I? Why am I on the planet? And then what do I see? And you can determine from those top 3 whether this opportunity is in alignment or an orphan, kind of living outside, you know what I mean? Outside the boundaries.
It's kind of a distraction.
Absolutely. And I've learned how to trim off distractions in my life that are fun, and there's nothing wrong. I wanted to be a musician for a while, and I really favored jazz music, so I was learning and practicing. And I love music to this day. I love jazz, but I realized
it's not in alignment with who I am, why I am, and what I see.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a strategy I built that was an orphan. So you know, I'm going to do something else with my time, and I switched it. Our battery's low. Does that matter?
Oh, you know it shouldn't be low. It's plugged in. So.
Okay.
That's
Anyway,
weird.
blah blah blah.
No, that's great, because then that would make it really easy for me to make a decision and say no, even though I dream of, because it's great, because I dream of being in Hawaii. Like, I want to live there one day.
Yeah.
So that could be a pull, but then realizing I would be doing jewelry, and that would show me, like, I think this is a distraction.
Yeah.
I'll say
Yeah.
no to this.
Yeah.
Which, and you know, whenever God brings an opportunity, or when, you know, there's better and best opportunities, and that might be an opportunity, but also but knowing this, in my opinion, I would say that was just not necessarily.
Yeah, it's a cool opportunity, but
yeah,
sometimes things come at us, and there's good things, better things, and best things. So if you can learn how to distinguish between them, you can end up accumulating and collecting the best things in your life instead of filling your arms with good things. And then you can't pick up the best ones when they come. So, it also, from the top down, helps person get tough enough to navigate through really difficult seasons. Because from the bottom up, it could look like, you know, this just isn't working. My garden, that first year, my garden is not growing, man. Maybe there's not enough sun, maybe it's too wet, maybe I'm not a gardener, maybe I've got a brown thumb. So, I'm not going to do it. So what ended up instead is I was gardening from the top down. I knew who I was, why I'm alive, and what do I see. And one of my strategies was to garden. So I was like, well,
cool.
I guess I keep gardening. So I had to get smarter at it and just work at it.
So cool.
So the pull system not only eliminates distractions, but it helps us navigate through, persevere through tough times. Wow, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but we're going to have some persevering going on, right? Since March or February. It's been rough, man. Yeah. And it's probably not going to end in a week. This thing could last some time. We're going to need thick skin and resilience. You're not going to build that well from the bottom. You're going to build it best from the top in a pull system. Yeah. Know who you are.
Yep.
Know why you are. And what you see, those things can switch and adjust, but your identity never changes. That's God-given. And once you find that, it's like God speaks and light is created. That happened in my session this morning. The woman, we weren't even working on this, and all of a sudden, God said something to her, and she reacted. We were on Zoom. She reacted on the Zoom, and she says, "Oh my gosh, I know who I am." It was super powerful.
So amazing.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And that would be God, you know?
Yeah. So if you're struggling with that, I'm just going to throw it out
Go.
there. Like, and this is a perfect time to not only find out who you are, your identity, connect with him, like email him, do a session, you know, or with someone else who you feel comfortable with, discover, like ask people, what do you see in me?
Yeah,
like,
man.
But also, the best source to get that information is from God, because some people might see old habits of you. So I would just get with God and start praying, like, God, start to show my identity. Remind me of a childhood memory. And if you need someone to walk with you, Steve is a great person to walk with you in it. And then also, something with the gardening. Oh yeah, and then that will be wonderful for you in this time too, because we are having to all do with what we have. Like, then you'll start to your eyes will open up to resources around you. You'll start to see things that you can use and be like, oh my goodness. And then being at home is not going to feel so much dreadful, because you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can use this time to go towards how God has created me. It's just really, I think it is perfect timing to do that if you haven't already done that, which a lot of people maybe have.
Yeah, they have.
You know, I've heard a lot of stories. I know I have reevaluated my own life. That's why I started to pursue coaching on the side instead of working as like a barista, and which I was blessed to work at Nickelodeon Studios. So I got to meet a lot of people in the industry who have become like friends or acquaintances that I really value. So God helped me with that. But now I'm realizing I need more time at home, blah, blah, blah. So I've had my own revelation with that.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
And Lisa says, Stephen, what has helped you persevere through tough times?
Wow.
It's a good question. Also, hi, Kaylee and Joanne.
It's helped me persevere. Well, I think the not to beat the drum again, but I think the single most powerful thing I realized was my identity. When I had been told and agreed with and read and understood my identity, but it was all like, for me, academic or intellectual. And I remember I heard, I will leave out the details for now, maybe for another time, but I heard God speak to me one time, and when he did, I realized my value. It had to do with a little T that I believed that said I was less valuable. I didn't think I was evil or worthless, but I felt I was less important. I was less. And when God spoke to me, he asked me a question. He said, "Can you say I am good?" Meaning, I am good. And I said, "No way, I'm not good. God's good. Colleen's good. Everybody in the world's good. I'm just kind of me or something. I don't know what I am." But he kept persisting. The Holy Spirit kept asking me, "Say, I am good." And when it finally happened, I'll leave out the details, but when it finally dawned on me, it's like God's voice created light. Wow. It's like when he said it, I woke up. It's the weirdest thing. And I've been a Christian a long time at this point. Obviously, I'm a slow learner because I was a worship leader in those days. I had long hair. I'd swing it when I'd sing. No, I'm kidding. But I still
believe you.
Yeah, I still have a lot of hair going on in the spirit, right? But so this thing happened. It woke me up, and to the question Lisa asked, knowing who I am means I get to just be me, not do me. And when I was doing Steve, it was exhausting because I was always performing. But when I could be Stephen, it was like, well, I just get to be me, and it's so much better. That's when I realized that's the top of the food chain on the purpose train. Yeah. So long answer, but
no,
really
it's
it's
not
identity.
It's
identity, man. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Just remembering who he says you are and declaring it over yourself
and to actually have it sink in from here to here was a game changer for me. Yeah,
that's good.
That was
She
awesome.
says thank you. And Jason, hi, welcome. Well, cool. So we'll wrap this up. This has been really fun. Thanks for being on here with me. I'm so I feel like I've refreshed a lot of like what you shared from my own life. So I'm like, yes, I've like, sometimes we forget things that we learn.
We do.
Because I took your Prosperous Soul class after we were married. I did the whole.
I remember that.
Yeah, and honestly, like I remember, and I've told you this before, but I remember leaving the class and being like, why doesn't everyone take this class? I just felt like I had so much revelation because you talk about identity. Like, you talk about identity, you talk about the poverty spirit, like Manon, which is like bullying, the opposite. So there's like insecurities and then there's bullying, basically. I'm kind of wording villain.
Victim and villain,
Thank you. I was like, what is the word?
Yeah, all the financial struggles, I think all originate from an orphan mindset. So when you figure out, remember the top is identity, when you figure that out, you have just crippled the orphan effort of the enemy of our souls. And when you defeat that, when you figure that out, his approaches and his techniques don't work anymore because they're not connected to a belief system that you're an orphan, right? Fundamental victories in that area. Identity is huge, and you know who did that for us? It is Jesus. Jesus is, and the gospel of Jesus is the answer. I'm sorry to get all preachy here.
No, you can do it.
It's like, doing. I just realized when I was learning all of these things, like, wow, Jesus is super smart. It's like, He's pretty smart. So
Yeah,
anyway.
that's cool. No, that's good. So if you want to connect with him, you can find him. He has a website, which is stephenkdesilva.com.
Mhm.
And you can also, you can email him. All the contact information is actually on your website.
Yeah.
Like they can message you. There's free, there's blogs on there, correct? There's
Yeah, I got
free
blogs
things, there's
and-
resources.
Let's see. I think I've got a channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
I've got Facebook. I do every Monday.
Yeah.
Most Mondays.
Yeah, he does Facebook Live or,
Yeah.
or Facebook video.
Yeah, there's
Either
lots of stuff
one.
on hiding around.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
follow him and check out what he has going on. And if you have questions, email him, Facebook him, whatever. Those get checked. So, yeah, and he does get a lot of emails. So if you don't hear him for a while, like email again.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Come
just
back.
do that. Just
Yeah.
keep going. Don't give up.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me a bit.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for being on here, and I'll show the book again.
Okay.
And then next week, I need to do this too for Donna, but we'll have. So this is his book, and then you can see when you look this up, the other resources he has.
Yeah.
Like there's a Prosperous Soul. That's a lot of the tools that.
Yeah, that's a
have like a
master
workbook,
course around
right?
the heart stuff.
Yeah, that's a master course, and then Prosperous Home is a master course for like home, the finances in
Yeah.
your home, and then also, there's also like leadership guide.
Yeah, I've got leader guides. There's curriculum
Yeah.
for small groups. I've got financial sozo
Yes,
is one of my tools. Purpose train. There's a ton of stuff around.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff. So just look them up, and yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for asking questions
Yeah.
and for popping in and out, and we're just so grateful for you all. So bless y'alls. I can't talk, and thanks for being on Coffee with Colleen, and
Yeah.
thanks for joining us.
Thanks
and
for having us.
there you go. So all right, bye everyone.